Global News Update on top accolade news. The headlines. Canadians head to the polls. U.S. Treasury Secretary sees paths to China trade deal. Tensions escalate in South China Sea. Pakistan denies involvement in Kashmir terrorist attack. We'll start with a focus in politics. Canadians head to the polls. Canadians are heading to the polls for a snap federal election, with a spotlight on how the candidates would handle the growing tensions with the United States. Prime Minister Mark Carney, in his first election since taking office, faces off Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre. With more than 7 million Canadians casting early ballots, this election has already set a new record for voter turnout. Key battlegrounds include Ontario, Quebec, and the Ottawa areas, where both leaders are running for re-election. Results are expected to come in late tonight, with Canadians waiting to see if a majority or minority government will emerge. Shifting focus to economy, U.S. Treasury Secretary sees paths to China trade deal. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent believes there is a path to a trade deal with China, despite conflicting signals from both sides. Bessent's recent talk with Chinese officials in Washington focused on global economic stability, while President Trump continues to predict that the tariff will ultimately benefit U.S. taxpayers and boost jobs. However, U.S. retailers have warned that the tariff are causing price hikes and empty shelves, with Chinese companies already adjusting prices in anticipation for further tariff increases. Meanwhile, U.S. Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins assured that the U.S. is in daily talks with China and is prepared to help American farmers if the trade war drags on. The situation remains uncertain, with a potential trade agreement still months away. Moving to international relations. Tensions escalate in South China Sea. In the South China Sea, rising tensions are playing out on the shores of the disputed Spratly Islands. China and the Philippines have both unfurled their national flags on the tiny sandbars of the Sandy Cape, signaling competing sovereignty claims in the vital waterway. This comes as the U.S. and Philippine forces conduct their largest ever joint military drills, and just weeks after U.S. Defense Secretary vowed to strengthen America's alliance with the Philippines against what it called China's growing aggression. With the region increasingly becoming a flashpoint for global conflict, the Philippines and China are locked in a standoff, each asserting that their territorial rights, while the U.S. stands with its ally. Moving to conflict, Pakistan denies involvement in Kashmir terrorist attack. Tensions between India and Pakistan continue to escalate as India responds to a fourth consecutive night of unprovoked small arms fire from Pakistan along the de facto border in Kashmir. This follows last week's deadly attack on tourists in the region, which killed 26 people. India has identified 2 Pakistani militants among the suspects, but Pakistan denies involvement, calling for an independent probe. While India hunts for the militants, security forces have detained hundreds and destroyed houses. Political leaders in Kashmir are urging caution, stressing the need to avoid harm to innocent civilians. Meanwhile, China calls for restraint between the 2 nuclear-armed nations as both sides ramp up military operation. You are watching the Global News Update on Top Accolade News. Do stay with us. Still to come. Thanks for staying with us. Still in conflict, U.S. strikes over 800 targets in Yemen. In Yemen, the United States has escalated its campaign against Houthi rebels, hitting over 800 targets since mid-March in Operation Rough Rider. The airstrike have killed hundreds of fighters and key leaders as Washington seeks to curb the group's threat to maritime security in the Red Sea. While Houthi missile and drone attacks have decreased, the rebels supported by Iran continue to target both U.S. vessels and Israel. The conflict has led to significant civilian casualties in Yemen, with the U.S. vowing to ramp up efforts until regional stability is resolved. This campaign comes amid growing geopolitical tensions in the region. Moving on in conflict, Putin thanks North Korea for military support. Russian President Vladimir Putin thanked Pyongyang on Monday for its role in retaking the Kursk border from Ukrainian forces. Putin praised North Korean troops for their bravery and compliance with international law, marking the first official confirmation of Pyongyang's involvement in the Russia-Ukraine war. Despite Moscow's claim of victory, Ukraine maintained that its forces are still engaged in defensive operation in the region, describing the situation as difficult. The growing partnership between Russia and North Korea continues to shape the dynamics of the ongoing conflict. Moving to entertainment. Kneecap under investigation after alleged calls for violence against MPs. Katie Amess, daughter of murdered MP Sir David Amess, has demanded an apology from Irish rap group Kneecap after disturbing footage surfaced from their November 2023 performance. In the video, the band alleged incite violence against MPs with the chilling words, "The only good Tory is a dead Tory."
The only good Tory is a dead Tory.
Katie, deeply affected by the loss of her father, called the comments dangerous and upsetting, urging the band to reflect on the harm they have caused. Conservative Party leader Kemi Badenoch has also joined in the calls for prosecution. Kneecap will face a backlash following controversial statements made during their Coachella performance, have denied the accusations, saying that they are victims of a smear campaign. The police are now investigating the footage as part of a wider inquiry into the band's action. Now in sports, Liverpool celebrates historic Premier League title. Liverpool has made history once again, clinching their 20th Premier League title with a stunning 5-1 win over Tottenham Hotspur at Anfield. Despite an early setback, the Reds rolled back with goals, while Tottenham's Destiny Udogie scored an own goal to cap off a dreadful day for the visitors. They celebrated the dominant performance. With this win, Liverpool ties Manchester United's record for English League titles as they sit comfortably at the top of the table with 82 points. It was a day for the fans who witnessed a historic moment on their home turf. That concludes our global news updates for today. Stay tuned for more global news and development. Thanks for joining us. I am Ojoromi Okocha. Connect and engage with us on all our social media handles. Do have a wonderful day.